When I was 17 years old, I had a dream. I wanted to become a software developer. Not a doctor, not an engineer, not a teacher like my parents. I wanted to build things with code. I wanted to create websites, apps, maybe even games one day. But in my small town, nobody understood that dream. When I told my classmates, some of them laughed. Coding? That's too hard for you. You're not good at math. Be realistic. At first, I smiled and pretended it didn't hurt. But it did. One day in class, our teacher asked everyone what they wanted to become in the future. When it was my turn, I stood up and said proudly, "I want to be a software developer." There was silence for a few seconds. Then someone in the back of the class started laughing. Soon, others joined. Even the teacher looked unsure. She said, "That's ambitious." Ambitious? It didn't sound like encouragement. It sounded like doubt. That day, I walked home slowly. Their laughter played again and again in my mind. Maybe they were right. Maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe I should choose something easier. That night, I opened my old laptop. The screen was cracked. The keyboard was old. The internet connection was slow. But when I wrote my first lines of code, something inside me felt alive. For the first time that day, I smiled. Nobody believed in me, but when I was coding, I believed in myself. And that was enough, at least for that moment.
The next 2 years were not easy. While my friends went out on weekends, I stayed home and practiced coding. While others watched movies, I watched programming tutorials. Sometimes I didn't understand anything. Sometimes I felt stupid. I would look at the screen for hours trying to fix one small mistake, and when nothing worked, I wanted to quit. One evening, my father came into my room. He looked at my screen full of strange symbols and said, "Are you still doing that? You should focus on something more stable." More stable. That word again. I knew he wanted to protect me, but every time someone doubted me, my confidence became smaller. There were nights when I closed my laptop and said to myself, "They are right, I can't do this." But something inside me refused to give up. I remembered the laughter in the classroom, and instead of stopping, I worked harder. I started building small projects, a simple calculator, a small website, a to-do list app. They were not perfect, but they were mine. One day, I decided to participate in an online coding competition. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want to hear more doubt. For 3 days, I worked almost without sleeping. I was nervous. I was scared. When I submitted my project, my hands were shaking. Then I waited. Days passed. I checked my email every hour. And then, one afternoon, I received a message. "Congratulations, you are one of the top 5 participants." I read it again and again. I couldn't believe it. For the first time, someone who didn't know me believed in me. The competition result changed something inside me. Not because I won money, not because people suddenly respected me, but because I finally saw proof. I was not stupid. I was not unrealistic. I was not dreaming too big. I was capable. Slowly, I started sharing my work online. Some people liked it, some people ignored it, but I kept going. Months later, I applied for an internship in a tech company in the city. When I went to the interview, I was nervous. The office was modern and bright. The people looked confident and experienced. I felt small again. During the interview, the manager asked, "Why should we choose you?" For a second, I almost said, "Maybe you shouldn't." But instead, I took a deep breath and said, "Because I never stop learning, even when nobody believes in me." He looked at me carefully, and then he smiled. 2 days later, I got the job. When I told my parents, they were silent, not because they were disappointed, but because they were surprised. My father said quietly, "I didn't know you were this serious." I wasn't angry at him. I wasn't angry at anyone, because I understood something important. Sometimes people don't believe in you because they cannot see what you see. They don't feel your dream. They don't understand your vision. Years later, I stood in front of a group of students in my old school. I was invited to give a short speech about my career. I looked at their faces. Some were curious, some were bored, some were probably doubting themselves. And I said, "There will be moments when nobody believes in you. People may laugh, they may doubt you, they may tell you to be realistic. But listen carefully. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You only need one person, yourself." I smiled because I remembered that classroom. I remembered the laughter, and I realized something powerful. Their doubt did not stop me. It built me. If nobody believes in you today, don't be afraid. Let them doubt. Let them laugh. Work in silence. Grow in silence. And one day, your results will make the noise. Because sometimes, the strongest belief in the world is the one you build inside yourself.